What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be working on this 1990 GMC 1500, and we're doing a rotor swap, wheel bearing change, as well as a caliper change. So let's get into it. So the tools I'm using, got a T-bar for the lug nuts here. We got 7/16 millimeter wrench, 3/8 Allen key, flathead screwdriver, channel locks, and some snips just in case. So first things first, we're just gonna crack all these lug nuts off the wheel, and then we'll jack it from there. And the last one. So all these are now finger loose, and we are now going to jack up the truck. What I did, since I am lucky enough, I am able to use the hoist, and so I'm lifting up on my A-frame. Once I start lifting, the wheel should come up, and then we'll take the lug nuts off, take the wheel off, and we should be good. All right, so how this jack works, this is our tightener here. So when it's loose, it comes down. When it's tight, you're ready to go up. So I'm just gonna start jacking up until this wheel starts to come off the ground. Okay, so now the wheel is barely off the hoist, but it will do. Shouldn't give us any harm. So let's get to it. All right, so I'm just gonna remove these lug nuts, and we'll go from there. This is the easiest part of the job by far. All right, so now we go ahead and remove the wheel. Put it off to the side, out of harm's way. All right, so now we got to take this center cup cap off, and to do so, we're just going to grab this flathead screwdriver and wedge it all the way around. Should pop out just like that, and you should have a crown bolt with a cotter pin in the middle of it. So what you do, you straighten out these pins, and you're going to pull on the cotter pin until it comes out. These are usually a big pain in the butt, but it's out, and this should come off freely. Don't even need the channel locks. And we'll put this off to the side. It's covered in grease, so we don't want it to get covered in dirt. All right, so this is the spindle thread. This is the washer. Behind this washer right here, I'll show you in just a second, is the wheel bearing. So what I'm going to do, before I do anything with the wheel bearing, I'm going to actually remove this caliper. So what we do, there's these two bolts back here, 1 and 2. I have this 3/8 Allen wrench, and I'm just going to take them out, and it should pop right off. Also keep in mind, there is your fuel line hose right here. So you are going to want to take that off. That is a size 7/16, and it is a different style bolt. It's a banjo bolt. I'll show you when we get there though. All right, so I got both of these back ones loose. Now what I'm going to do, this is possibly going to be a little messy. So I'm going to grab the 7/16 wrench, and I'm going to hook onto this bolt right here. It's the banjo bolt. It's what lets the brake fluid into your caliper. So sometimes you just got to give it a good smack, just like that. And yep, see, so she's going to drip a little bit. If it's dripping fluid, we got fluid, so that's a good sign. So this caliper is full right now. And I'm just going to hang this hose right up there, and here is the banjo bolt. So this bolt right here is a little bit different. You see that hole right there? That feeds through the bottom, and it just allows the fluid to enter the caliper. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take it out, hopefully. Actually, you know what? Put this banjo bolt in just to stop it from leaking everywhere. All right. Just like that, wiggles off. There we go. The old caliper, super crusty, not good. But we have a brand new caliper and brand new rotor on its way. So we'll get to the next step, taking the rotor off. So taking the rotor off, it's actually pretty easy. Once you got all the caliper off, your brake line's off, we move that out the way on top of the ball joint. And so we come back to this crown bolt, just gonna undo it. And like before, put it off to the side, don't want it getting dirty. And what we really do is we just pull on it and the bearing should come out. Here's the washer that goes into the bearing. So I'll show you when we assemble the next rotor how everything works. So I pulled on the rotor and the front wheel bearing popped right out. So I'm just going to take that, put it over to the side, and we'll go from there. Alright, so this is the front wheel bearing. It's smaller than the back. I'll show you later. And now that it's off, the rotor should just pop right off. Boom. Just like that. And now what we got to do next, if you really want to reuse the wheel bearings, we take off this rear wheel seal and the bearing should pop right out, put it into the new rotor, put in the new wheel seal, and we should be golden. So I'll bring you inside. So this is my new wheel seal, and these are the rotors that we're gonna get set up here. So brand new, a lot less crusty, and new wheel seal. So we should have a good combo going. All right, just to check to see if the inner diameters are the same, I have my old wheel seal here. It would do the job, but for the $5 it costs for the part, it is definitely not worth the hassle. So there we go. Same size. We should be golden. Let's get that bearing into the rotor. All right, so we got the new rotor. It's a performance one, heavy duty. So my truck, the one we're working on, it comes standard with 1-inch thick rotors. We bought a parts truck for, parts, and it had heavy duty brakes, which come 1.25 inches. We didn't know that, the truck we got was a 4.3 liter V6. It shouldn't have heavy duty brakes, but hey, from after 92, all models from GM, Chevy, they went standard to heavy model or heavy duty. So I guess it's you could call it an upgrade, I guess. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna flip this rotor over, and we're gonna pack the bearing, and then put the wheel seal in, and put it back on the truck. So let's get to it. All right, so I got my wheel bearing here. This is the inner one. It is a little bit wider than the outer one, as I was saying before. So you can't really mix them up. Small goes on the out, big goes on the end. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna get a handful of grease, and I'm gonna show you how to pack these. So let's get to it. All right, so this is the messiest part of the job. What I'd recommend is getting some latex gloves if you don't want to get dirty, but as you can see, I'm already too far to be cleaned. So I'm just gonna go in with my hands, grab a 2-finger scoop, around that much, put it on my left hand, spread it out, and now we're gonna grab our inner wheel bearing, and we're just gonna kind of scoop it into the ridge here, and it should come out all of these the rollers. So scoop, 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 and you're just gonna want to go all the way around, and don't be scared to put too much grease on it. That's something you can't really have too much of, unless you really overdo it, but it's pretty hard to do. So I'm just going to keep greasing, and she's greased now. So we're going to check the spinability. Seems all right, and lay it off on a towel onto the side. I have messy, greasy hands right now. That's perfectly what I want, because I'm going to put it into the rotor neck, so it's not just going on to straight metal. All right, so I got a little bit of grease on my hand here, and I'm just going to go on the inner. This is the inner side of the rotor. I'm just going to go around where the bearing is going to sit. So the bearing's greased as well as its seated position. Just going to make it nice and smooth. And now what we do, bearing goes in this way, so concave goes down, and it should just fall right into place there. Look at that, perfect. Check the spinability, is it spinning? Yep, perfect. All right, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab our wheel seal. This holds the bearing in place, and we're gonna press that in. All right, so we now got the wheel seal seated, and the bearing should not go anywhere. So we can now move back. Actually, I gotta grease up the outer wheel bearing, same grease, and I'll meet you out at the truck using the same technique as I did the first time. All right, so I'm at the truck again, and this is pretty straightforward. We got outer wheel bearing, the washer that holds it in, and then the crown bolt. So step one, you're putting the rotor right onto the spindle, and it should just slide right on. I'd clean up this if you wanted to, or if you could. Sometimes they get really crusty. I know I cleaned it out as best as I could underneath, and it should sit just on it. So we'll do that. All right, so she slid on. All right, so the rotor's on the spindle. I have the outer wheel bearing. It goes in like this, so the smaller of the diameters goes towards the inside, and it should slide right in there. It's in place. Now we're gonna grab this washer. It's got a lock in it, so you're gonna find the groove on the spindle. It's right there, and you're just gonna lock it in, push it in, boom. Now we're gonna come to the crown bolt. This bolt's a little bit different than the others because it's got, well, as it's called, it's a crown bolt. There's holes everywhere, mainly for this cotter pin. So we just tighten that on. And just clean up any grease that's coming between the crowns. So you're gonna want to find your cotter pin hole. All right, so I'm gonna grab my channel locks here, and I'm just gonna slightly tighten this so it's just snug, and then I'm gonna put my cotter pin in through the hole. So it's gonna go like that. So I'm gonna tighten with these, seal with the cotter pin. All right, so I got it tightened. You can't really see, but you have to line up the crown with the hole that goes down. You can see it very bottom here. So what I could tell from looking at here, I still have to play with this so I can get the cotter pin in. All right, so these cotter pins, they slide through the hole, jiggle it in, make sure it comes right down to the seam, and you're gonna notice that one side's a little bit longer than the other. That's so you have leverage to push it, and you want it to wrap around this crown bolt. I'll show you after once I'm done. All right, so this is what your cotter pin should look like. So the functionality of the cotter pin is so that this crown bolt cannot move no matter what. It kind of holds everything in place. So next thing we're gonna do, we got our brand new caliper right here. We're gotta set up the banjo bolt back here. We might do that after we have it installed. So I'm gonna clean up these back two threads that the caliper go into, and we'll get it all sorted out. All right, now you're gonna want to put your center cap back on, just so no debris gets in there or anything. Give it a good few slaps, and she's on. All right, so we got a new caliper. We have a new set of brake pads that are gonna go right onto there. A bit of the wrapper, and we also have our best friend, grease. So we don't need much grease this time compared to the wheel bearings, but we do need it. I mean, it does come with pre-packaged grease, but I'd rather this stuff. All right, so we have two different types of pads here. We have the outer one and the inner one. The other one usually has, on most models, 2 sticks like that, and this one's horizontal. So we're gonna put just a little bit of grease underneath the connection. I don't know if you could see that, just so it will slide on a little bit nicer. We're also going to put just a little bit on this one. We don't really need to, but you know, it doesn't hurt. So I'm going to wipe that off. All right, so we got our caliper. One thing you'll notice, one side's thicker than the other. Pretty simple. We got a big circle in here. So this pad, with the horizontal clips, goes right into this circle. These tabs come out the top of the caliper. So they slide in like this. I don't know if you could see it. Slide in like this. You put in the top first, and the bottom should just click right in. Or it's the bottom then the top. Bottom, top should click right in. Ready? Boom. One pad's done. Just like that. We're gonna flip this caliper over, and you can see there's little divots right here. That's where these two things go. One thing you want to keep in mind, your wheel is circular, so make sure the bend is following the wheel. So I'm gonna slide it in this way. The grease helps it just slide like that, just like nothing. And now we're ready to install. All right, so now that our caliper is ready to be mounted, we're just gonna put it in. This could be a little fiddly. Just because these are brand new rotors or calipers, there's no liquid in them, so they do not have to be compressed. They technically already are until anything's been pushing on them. Make sure these bolts are pushed back when you put them on, because they like to interfere. Just like that. Just bottom in. Make sure you just boom. There we go. Now what we're going to do, we're just going to tighten up these bolts. We're going to tighten up these bolts, and then we're going to get this banjo bolt in. That's what feeds your brake fluid to your calipers. So again, I'm using this 3/8 Allen key, and it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to tighten it up. Alright, so caliper is all tightened. It's not going anywhere. Next thing's next. We're gonna grab our trusty 7/16 wrench and our brake line. Hopefully you guys didn't forget about. It will be leaking if you do have fluid in, which most likely you should. But in my case, I'm rebuilding this truck, so not much fluid in it. Make sure she's just clean so she doesn't give you any problems. So here's our banjo bolt. That is going to go into the back right here. Just for context, these are your 2 bolts holding in your caliper. So our banjo bolt, again, as I said, it's different than all the other bolts. It has a hole through it. What I like to do is get some brake clean and just clean up that hole, spray it on each side, make sure things are moving. But this one looks clean from the inside, so I think I might just throw it in. The new calipers came with some new banjo washers. As you can see, this one is pretty flattened. So we're gonna get these changed and hooked up. Flown away. So we're given 2 washers. One goes before your fuel line or brake line, just like so. Throw it on there. Hold the second one for later. You're gonna grab your brake line here. It should be a square. If it's not, then you're looking at the wrong video. So then we have the second one. The second one goes on after. So bolt, washer, line, washer. And we're gonna screw that right into the back of the caliper. All right, so this bolt is a 7/16. I'm just using a normal wrench, and I'm just gonna throw it in. So I had the bolt the wrong way. So this way, there's a groove on the back of this caliper. So this is flat for a reason. It goes flat to flat, and that's pretty much how it is. So pretty simple. We're just gonna finger tight that down first as far as we can, save some time. Got quite a bit, so I'm just gonna use my 7/16. Make sure she's snug. All right, and now we're ready to put the wheel back on. So I'm just gonna grab the wheel here. So this is not really ideal because the truck is on the hoist. If it was on the ground, it'd be easier to take the wheel, but we're just gonna do it. Before you put on your wheels, it's good to just get a wire brush and you know, clean up the surface so nothing sticks to the rotor in the future. We're gonna line up the lugs. And just like that, the wheel is on. So the wheel is now on. Just gonna hand tighten these lug nuts first before I torque them down. So I do have to release the jack before I torque it, or else the wheel will just keep spinning on me, and we don't want that. So there we go. All right, so I'm just gonna take this T-bar and tighten up these before I get.
Are you kind of talking like?
All right, so you're gonna want to tighten your lug nuts in a star pattern. So do that, and then you get your torque wrench and set it to 100 psi, and you should be good to go. Brand new rotors, calipers, everything. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see what's upcoming. I do have an 010 block sitting on the stand right now waiting to be built. We're gonna put a 280H cam in it and see what type of power we can make out of it. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.